just chop and change it year after year because it's not as easy as you'd like it to be. Sorry, don't do that. Chop food. The worst part would be if you know, 4, 5, 6 sides on the same have it 4, 5, 6. And you've got to take that side that's absolutely a bit harsh, isn't it? You still want the yeah. And then you've played each other once, but some teams you play, it's not home and away.
Hello, gentlemen three.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you?
You studied my article for next week in great detail.
No.
You haven't. Can you have the original section for me and make sure that I'm not going to memorise it?
The mayor will soon tell us, don't worry. We shall put your mind at
I'm not
ease.
very happy.
Oh, well, let's not go there.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
James. Good afternoon, councillors, staff and members of the public. Welcome along. I declare this meeting open. Under announcements, just for the minutes to record, my appreciation for the attendance at the public forum last Monday evening. Very well attended, and city officers and myself will be meeting with stakeholders on Friday to discuss the options, particularly relating to parking. I attended a meeting of a group called Schools of the Future at Cooinda Primary School last week, and as a result of that, we're going to look at an early childhood strategy for Bunbury. We also have received a certificate of appreciation from the Chef's Long Table Lunch, and the Rugby League World Cup was in Bunbury last week, and I was presented with a replica of the actual rugby league ball they use. Don't pinch at anybody. That'll probably find its way to the sports centre once the competition is completed. But it was nice to have the World Cup. It wasn't gold like the Melbourne Cup, but it was pretty impressive trophy. We have Councillor Giles on approved leave, and Councillor McGwell is attending a conference together with the Director of Corporate and Community Services. Any other apologies? Have we heard from Councillor McGuinness? No. Any declarations of interest tonight, councillors? No, there are no questions. Confirmation of the minutes of the last meeting. Someone prepared to move that? Councillor Cook, Councillor Jones, all in favour? It's carried unanimously, thank you. 712, the committee. Someone prepared to move that? Thanks, Councillor Jones. Seconder, Councillor McCleary, all in favour? It's carried unanimously, thank you. Do we have any petitions? Matters dealing, the method for dealing, councillors coming out for discussion 10.2.2, which requires an absolute majority, our fees and charges, and 10.2.4 with a proposed amendment. Are there any other matters that anyone wishes to discuss in detail? Councillor Steck. 10.25. Yep, any further? Someone prepared to move the balance. Councillor Hayward, Councillor Cook, all in favour? It's carried.
Sorry, can I just vote against 10.42?
No, I've already declared it, Councillor Steck. We move to 10.22, which requires an absolute majority. Someone prepared to move? Councillor Kelly, seconder. Councillor Cook. Is there going to be any discussion tonight? I'll put it all in favour. Those against? One against, that's carried, thank you. Councillor Steck records the name against. We move to 10.24. Someone prepared to move the executive recommendation? Councillor Kelly, Councillor McCleary. Councillor Jones.
What place does the delegates for the Bunbury Harvey Regional Council sit if it's not with council committees?
I think if I can, I'll ask the acting CEO to respond to that, but my belief is that with those statutory committees, we need to fill them anyway at the end of or the beginning of the new council term.
Yes, Mr Mayor, that's my understanding.
Yeah. So we'll do that in October. I want to make an amendment here, move an amendment to add to the advisory committee list. Can you come down there? Which I circulated today, to add in there an Innovation Technology Advisory Group. Can I get a seconder for that? Thanks, Councillor Hayward. Is there going to be any debate on the amendment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In discussion for that group, the city and the community is moving quite rapidly in the space, I'm talking to the amendment, is moving quite rapidly in the innovation and technology space. We have our Smart Cities project underway with, we have a councillor and one of the directors attending a conference this week. And it's an opportunity and I think a real need for the city to be involved in that space. And I anticipate the advisory group comprising city representatives as well as community representatives, but we do need to be in that space. Councillor Hayward.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Look, I think any opportunity we have to be able to engage our wider community and to also allow councillors to participate in the process of finding a better way forward for our city is something that we should support. I think that innovation and technology is an area, as the Mayor has pointed out, that is growing and that will make a significant difference into the future. And I think there's some fantastic things on the horizon, and there's already some really great stuff happening. And I think that any opportunity we can to update ourselves, make ourselves more relevant, and that we can work together is worth supporting. So I'd urge all councillors to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker against, Councillor McCreary.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, I'm not at all opposed to having Innovation Technology Advisory Group if I know what exactly it's about, and we haven't had the opportunity for this discussion. So I would prefer that it would be deferred so we can actually get into it and make it so we all understand exactly what it's going to be about. At the moment, it's just words on a piece of paper, and I feel that we haven't had the opportunity to discuss this, and I would like to see it coming up at the second round. There's no need for it to be here. It can come any time through the year again to be put forward, and at the moment I think just to be thrown at us in a couple of hours for us to make up a decision like that on such an important issue, I say no at this point in time, that it needs more discussion, and I would like to put another amendment forward that we defer this until we've had time to see the background, the argument for it and against it, and the mission statement, etc., put in place. Thank you.
Mr Speaker, I'll put the amendment. All in favour? Those against? One. That's carried. The amendment becomes attached to the motion that was previously moved. Sorry, Jamie. Thank you. So that was moved by Councillor Kelly, I think. The Speaker against? I'll put it. All in favour? Those against? It's carried unanimously. Thank you. 10.2.5, someone prepared to move the executive recommendation? Thank you, Councillor Jones. Second to Councillor Hayward. Councillor Jones, do you wish to speak?
Only to say I think that this is the process that is usually taken for the recruitment of CEOs in local authorities in Western Australia.
Councillor Hayward.
Can I make an amendment, please, sir?
You can.
I just wanted to ask on executive recommendation 2, on that paragraph, if we could also add the other suitably qualified from the law practices as well. Because I think that...
Sorry, Councillor Steck, I didn't quite hear you. What did you say? You want to move the amendment to?
To include any practising solicitor.
What on?
Or fraternity of law in the section of what the criteria is for the CEO.
To include in the criteria practising solicitor.
Yep.
Is there a seconder to that?
As an option.
So, Mr Mayor, I'd like some more explanation on this. Where exactly is that fitting in there, in that executive recommendation?
I think what Councillor Steck is getting at is that she would like to see a practising solicitor included in the essential criteria or desirable criteria for this person. Is that your intent?
Correct, sir.
Yeah. Sure.
So where would that sit as an amendment? Because that's a criteria. We've only got executive recommendation. Would that be number 4?
We have got the
Because it doesn't
criteria attached to this report.
So would it fit in there?
Is it attached to this report? Did we deal with that at the
Yeah, I
last
did,
council
but is
meeting?
that
We
Mr. Guy?
have presented a selection criteria to council.
Understand?
It might have been the last council meeting.
I read that. That's
Yeah.
fine. So is that where Councillor Steck wants
I
it to
think
go?
that's where she's asking for it to go.
And I did hear she say as an option, a preferred option, not, it wasn't necessary set in cement.
Yeah,
No, it's just part of the selection criteria, no different than seeking someone from business administration or a degree in public sector or so on.
so is there a seconder? Yes, Councillor Warnock.
Can I just ask where in the selection criteria would that go? Because I've got it in front of me, just so I can understand what we're voting on.
We'll see if we can pull up that report. My memory's pretty good, but I can't recall everything that was in there. There was minimum criteria, degrees, qualifications, experience, knowledge of local government. Just bear with us for a few minutes. It's okay, we'll find it.
So what's, what's highlighted is the...
There we go.
They're the essential selection criteria.
Yeah. So there are essential criteria. Was there any preferred or recommended criteria further down? No, it was mainly called desirable criteria. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to deal with this matter now. I think we know what Councillor Steck is getting at. So you've seconded it. Is there a speaker against that? I'll put that amendment. All in favour? Those against? That's lost. Go back to the original recommendation. Thank you. Is there a speaker against? I'll put it all in favour. Those against? That's carried unanimously. Thank you. I think we're done. 11.1, Councillor McCleary's leave request. Someone prepared to move that? Councillor Jones, Councillor Hayward, all in favour? That's carried unanimously. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're now going to move behind closed doors. I'll just get a motion and a move and a seconder to do that, please. Councillor Jones, Councillor Cook, all in favour? That's carried. We're just dealing with one item behind closed doors, closed to the public. So, Harry, thanks for your attendance.